We watched Yhonzae Pierre on this channel earlier this season when he had 3 sacks against Tennessee, and in that game he did a great job either beating offensive tackles to their outside shoulder, where he was then able to turn the corner and get a sack, or he kind of faked that outside move and just flashed to the inside. This game against LSU, we didn't really see him go around tackles. We saw him just blow them up through the middle of their face. So I think this game against LSU is a good example of just how powerful a football player Yhonzae Pierre is. He finished with 2 sacks, but he's in the backfield the entire game as well. And we're going to take a look at this first clip here. He's not in a wide 9. This is like a wide 20, how far he is from the offensive tackle, how far outside he is. But when you give him this much space to get a running start here, this is when he's really powerful. We'll see it this entire game. Just watch the left tackle 57's helmet. Watch the way that it just kind of jerks back like that. To me, that's how you can kind of tell how strong, or how powerful rather, a football player is. LSU finished with 2 yards per carry. I think Yhonzae Pierre did a good job setting the edge and then forcing the running back to the inside. But as a pass rusher, that's really where he played his best game against LSU. And you're going to hear me say speed to power, and I'm going to say it time and time again because that's how he got after the quarterback. A couple weeks ago, whenever that Tennessee game was, it was about him and his flexibility. This time it was about that first step, that explosiveness, and then turning that into strength. The way that he was able to walk these offensive tackles into the backfield and force the issue. Even when he wasn't getting sacks, he was making Nussmeier and then Van Buren when he came in very uncomfortable, and he just affected the game that way. This was the only rep where I really saw the left tackle kind of absorb all that power that Yhonzae Pierre played with this entire game. But I also want to talk about the motor that he has. When he realized he's not going to be able to get after the quarterback, this is a great job of him redirecting, finding a way to make a play. He's not the one that makes the tackle on this running back, but he was there just in case he broke a tackle on that. This next time, this is actually the play that might have ended Garrett Nussmeier's career in college football. He got benched after this. We're going to talk about Yhonzae Pierre. I'm going to talk about Nussmeier for a little bit after, but just that first step. It's that first step, and then the explosiveness, and then the way that just turns into strength. And, he's given up something like 50 pounds to every tackle he faces. That's how it is for these edge rushers. But when you have that first step, just take a look at the amount of grass in between him and 57 right now. That's how you can kind of mitigate being a bit smaller than offensive tackles. And that's what we saw in this one and just throughout this entire game. This is an awful play by Nussmeier. He got benched after this. We watched a lot of freshman quarterbacks on here. Julian Lewis, he played a great game for Colorado against West Virginia last week, his first start. This week against West Virginia. And he does that thing where he just turns his back to the defensive line. And that's okay because he's an 18-year-old. Nussmeier's been playing college football for 5 years now, and he's still doing this. That's why he got benched. But, then Van Buren came in, and it was pretty much the same thing. Pierre, again, just reduces this pocket in an instant. All of a sudden, Van Buren has to step up. Good play by him running on that. But just see, he was just in the backfield the entire game. And then he ended up getting another sack this time against Van Buren. That first step, just how powerful of a football player he is. And then this is something we haven't talked about. You can take a look right now just how long his arms are. He does a good job kind of using those as weapons, and he's able to affect this even earlier than most defensive linemen would with shorter arms. Way he's able to knock the ball out on that. But yeah, Yhonzae Pierre's been having a great season. You guys let me know what you think about him. Please check out we-draft.com. Thanks for watching.